speaker's note introduce the speaker. Right?
Yeah, they should. So we're just going to do a waterfall. She'll have each person introduce themselves.
So there's a list of speakers. So I will remove this. And if you could just bring the next person up.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I am Congressmember Kevin Mullin, proud to represent the 15th Congressional District, San Mateo County, and the southeastern corner of San Francisco. Honored to be here today with Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, and we're in her district today. Our mayor, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie, San Mateo County Executive Mike Callaghy, as well as some incredible local emergency response leaders who work tirelessly to keep our communities safe, including San Francisco Fire Chief Dean Crispin, Mary Ellen Carroll, who directs the city's Department of Management. We have Dr. Shruti Dapadkar, the director of San Mateo County's Emergency Management as well. So thank you to all of our speakers, and a special thank you to Mayor Lurie for hosting us here along the beautiful San Francisco Bay. So looking at our region, I am reminded of how fortunate we are to have these natural surroundings. Yet I also can't help but think about how many people, homes, and infrastructure we have here that we need to protect. September is National Preparedness Month, and in California, we are no strangers to natural disasters. Whether it's an earthquake, a wildfire, or flooding from an extreme storm, we need to take steps to be prepared now. As our climate changes, we face increasing risks. Extreme weather is expected to worsen, and across the country, more and more people are living in areas in harm's way. We need the federal government to be bringing more resources and more support for communities on the front lines to prepare. This is why it's been alarming to see this current administration strip away funding and support for FEMA, the National Weather Service, and other critical emergency response and preparedness programs. Now is not the time to be slashing support for emergency preparedness. Now is the time to help protect lives, property, and the infrastructure that we all rely upon. Emergency preparedness isn't a kick the can down the road situation. It is something each and every individual, community, and every level of government needs to be proactively preparing for every day. Because waiting until a disaster strikes often means it's too late. One of the most essential roles government serves during a crisis is making sure that the public is properly informed with timely and accurate information. People need to know what is happening, what is at risk, what actions they need to take, and how to stay informed. This is why emergency alert systems are so important. And the backbone of that system for communities across the nation is a federal integrated public alert and warning system, or IPAWS. This alert, the wireless emergency alerts, the push alerts that we get on our cell phones, as well as radio and TV alerts and more, are part of that IPAWS system. These alerts can be sent by groups like the National Weather Service, but also for local and also by our local emergency managers. There are also opt-in text alerts, and we are also very fortunate here in the Bay Area to have our own local emergency alerting systems like Alert SF in San Francisco and SMC Alert in San Mateo County. Emergency alerts save lives. We need to ensure that all Americans, regardless of where they live, have access to timely and accurate alerting. The recent devastating floods in Texas and the wildfires in Los Angeles highlight yet again how alert failures can turn deadly. Too often alerts are delayed, unclear, or maybe never sent. And the public doesn't always know what to expect from alerts or how to respond. We need to do more to improve these systems and make sure they're being used effectively. Experts agree that what local authorities need is more training and resources to conduct exercises and public education. That's why I am introducing the bipartisan Resilient Emergency Alert Communications and Training Act, or the REACT Act. The REACT Act will help ensure that communities facing a disaster receive critical emergency alerts that help protect lives. My bill directs FEMA to support local authorities by authorizing $30 million annually for communities to conduct testing and live exercises of their emergency alert systems. It would help define clear roles and responsibilities across intergovernmental agencies. The REACT Act would also help standardize emergency alerts with messages that are clearer and easier to understand by the public. Clear and direct communication during a crisis is key. And the bill would also support public education campaigns so people know how these alerts work and how to properly respond. FEMA would also publish an annual transparency report that tracks exercises, training, and testing across alerting authorities. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. Disasters can strike in blue states and red states alike. We've seen deadly hurricanes in the southeast, earthquakes and wildfires in the west, and extreme storms and flooding across the country. We also know extreme weather events are expected to worsen with climate change. We need action now. We need the federal government to provide more support, training, and resources so communities can be better prepared for when the next disaster strikes. I want to emphasize how lucky we are in the Bay Area to have local governments like San Mateo County and San Francisco that have really prioritized the emergency alert systems. And I'd like to particularly thank the San Francisco and San Mateo Departments of Emergency Management for all of their input in helping craft this legislation. So with that, it is my honor to turn the podium over to Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. I am incredibly grateful to be with her today here in her district. As we all know, she is a steadfast champion for the people of San Francisco, who she has so boldly represented throughout her career. She's the greatest speaker in the history of the country, and it's an honor to bring her to the podium. Madam Speaker, the podium is yours.
Thank you very much, Congressman Mullin, and thank you so much for your leadership in putting forth this legislation. While it is called the REACT Act, we cannot react unless we are prepared, and that's what your bipartisan legislation is about. I'm honored to be a co-sponsor of your legislation. You have described it all very well, the need for it and the rest. I just want to put it in a little perspective. Right now we're having a fight in Washington about reducing the role of FEMA, the funding for FEMA and the rest, which is, again, not a statement of our commitment to protecting people if we're going to reduce something that's going to come in and help people in case of a natural disaster or any other disaster. Thank you for your leadership. It's an honor to represent San Francisco with you. I know the mayor will agree with me on that, in that he came just in a couple terms, has been effective from the start. He was the, you should know this about him, he was the second in command in the state legislature for more years than anyone else in that role. And so an effective legislator from the start in Congress. This legislation is bipartisan, and that speaks very well as to his effectiveness. But we have a responsibility. I'm honored to be here with Mary Ellen Carroll, well, let me just say, Mary Ellen Kelly, Department of Emergency Management, Chief Dean Crispin. Chief, I always say in my comments that our firefighters are our nobility. They're our nobility. They keep us safe, men and women, in the firefight as firefighters in one way or another. We have a responsibility to the public, and you honor it at the risk of lives and safety for your members. Thank you for that leadership. County Executive Gallagher, welcome to San Francisco. I'm so glad that this is a regional presentation, and that's because of Kevin's representing San Francisco and San Mateo County. Dr. Dapodkar, Director of San Mateo Emergency Management. She's a physician. In addition, that doctor has many blessings to us in all this. So you see the comprehensive approach. Okay, let me just now go to my purpose here is to introduce the mayor. We have a responsibility, elected officials. We have a responsibility as representatives of the government, whether it was local, state, or national, to protect people, safety, whether it's community safety or safety in any form. And when there is a disaster, we have a responsibility to them to try to keep them as safe as possible, either by preparation or by response to it. We are blessed in San Francisco with a mayor who understands that full well, with all of the responsibilities of an executive, and I say that Mr. Callaghy understands that as well, with all the responsibilities. First and foremost, safety in every stage of challenge in all of that is our responsibility. In the private sector and the non-private sector, before he became mayor, he understood this and the challenges that he undertook for our community. So it is perfectly a combination to have Congressman Mullin's REACT Act, also again represented by the mayor of San Francisco here. Welcome to the podium, Mayor Daniel Lurie.
Good morning, everybody. Speaker Emerita, I think you had a much greater purpose than just introducing me. It's an honor to follow you, Congressman. Congressman Mullin, thank you for your leadership. As we stand before you here at Fire Station 35, which is a historic landmark in San Francisco, we remember the Loma Prieta earthquake that struck in 1989, and San Francisco was hit incredibly hard. Water mains broke, fires spread, and in that moment, the Phoenix, the city's only operational fireboat at the time, pumped over 5.5 million gallons of water into San Francisco, saving lives, houses, and neighborhoods. That boat was nearly decommissioned a couple years prior in 1987. To some, it seemed unnecessary, until the day it became indispensable. San Francisco is vulnerable to natural disasters, including earthquakes, wildfires, and even tsunamis. As a country, we have seen how failures in emergency alerts can leave people vulnerable and unprotected. As mayor of San Francisco, the safety of our residents is my #1 priority. I'm going to say that again. I've been saying this every day since I became mayor. Public safety is my #1 priority, which means preparing residents, our families, and neighborhoods for whatever comes our way. That includes emergency preparedness. In San Francisco, we are doing our part. In 2022, we built the new modern Fire Station 35 to carry this station's legacy. In May, we launched Ready SF, a citywide preparedness campaign where people can sign up for text alerts and learn to prepare for the next natural disaster. We've held tabletop exercises with city departments. We've modernized our cistern and auxiliary water systems, and my administration continues to work to fully staff our police department, our sheriff's department, and our 911 dispatch office, along with our firefighters. Congressman Kevin Mullin has proposed another tool in our emergency preparedness toolkit, the REACT Act. The REACT Act will strengthen emergency alert systems, fund FEMA training, and ensure public warnings are trusted, understood, and acted upon. I want to thank Congressman Mullin, Speaker Emerita Pelosi, and to all of those who worked on this legislation. The REACT Act is the next step. It will help us keep San Francisco and San Franciscans safe, and it will keep California strong and our nation ready. I urge members of Congress to pass this legislation. Now it's my honor to introduce our Director of San Francisco's Department of Emergency Management, Mary Ellen Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor, and it is truly an honor to stand up here with Speaker Emeritus Pelosi, with Congressman Mullins, our fire chief, and my colleagues from San Mateo County. One of the most important responsibilities of the Department of Emergency Management is emergency notifications. And we are very proud of the system that we have. We have multiple preloaded messages for almost any emergency that you can have in human, translated in many languages. However, anyone who has received a notification knows that they're not always perfect. We have seen an uptick increasingly over the last 7 years that I have been director, and even since Mayor Lurie has been in office, even before he took office, we had some interesting conversations about a variety of notifications that we've never had before. A tornado warning that had never happened in San Francisco. So for all of these reasons, this legislation is incredibly important, and I am so grateful for the effort of Congressman Mullins and Speaker Pelosi for supporting. We need to be coordinated regionally on our messaging. We need to improve that. Many of the messages we send out in San Francisco, but oftentimes there's messages that come out from our federal agencies, and all of these have to be sort of translated and interpreted. We're lucky that we have many modes of transmission of communication and messaging. We have, most of us, almost everyone has a phone. We have the ability to get out things through social media. And when it comes down to it, we have our first responders that will hit the street to make sure that people get information they need. I want to remind everyone and take this opportunity to ask if you have not signed up for our own San Francisco alerts to do so. All you need to do is put your zip code in and text 888-777. And you will get our alerts. So again, I am so supportive and thankful for this legislation. I'm grateful for the people that are behind me, and I'm also grateful not only to the many staff of the Department of Emergency Management and public safety agencies, but also to the people of San Francisco, because everyone has a role in emergencies. Signing up for an alert is one of the very first things that you can do to get ready. And then when you get the alert, to follow the instructions that happen. And that way, we together will all be safer as we move forward. So with that, I would like to turn this over to my esteemed colleague, our San Francisco Fire Chief, Dean Crispin.
Good morning. My name's Dean Crispin. I'm the chief of the San Francisco Fire Department. It is a true honor to be here. What a fitting location for this event. Right over my right shoulder is a little fireboat Phoenix that was staffed by 6 firefighters from the San Francisco Fire Department on October 17, 1989. As the mayor so eloquently described, they chugged around these piers to the marina, drafted water from this bay, and extinguished a massive fire in the marina that could have turned into a conflagration. We could have lost many neighborhoods and perhaps half the city. One thing to remember is they were assisted by members of the public. If you look at the old videos, you'll see members of the public helping advance hose lines, assisting our members. It's a very poignant symbol of how it takes everybody in the case of a disaster. In 6 days, we'll honor those lost in the September 11th attacks. 343 firefighters killed from the New York Fire Department, 52 police officers, and over 3,000 civilians lost. Those 2 instances are a case of the wide range of disaster responses that we are required to respond to. What do? We train, we conduct exercises, we case study, we drill, constantly preparing ourselves for any disaster that is in front of us. But this legislation allows that partnership, similar to what happened in 1989, to occur with the public. The public can be alerted and perhaps avoid the response necessities of the fire department and other public service agencies by being alerted early and self-extricating from potential building collapses and other disasters. So it really is amazing that the vision of the Congressman Mullin, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Speaker Emerita, it's an honor to be in your presence. I would really like to say thank you to Mayor Daniel Lurie for his unwavering and passionate support of public safety. And also to my partner in safety, Director Mary Ellen Carroll. We work really well together. I feel that we're ready. This legislation will save lives. I'd like to also acknowledge Director Elaine Forbes, who's also been a fantastic partner of ours in public safety. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
And we are now going to bring up our county executive, the top dog in San Mateo County, Mike Callaghy.
Thank you. Before coming to the San Mateo County Executive Office some 13 years ago, I had the honor of spending 30 years in law enforcement at the San Mateo Police Department. And as in that role, I certainly appreciated and experienced firsthand and understand how critical it is for local agencies to have strong and reliable emergency alert systems. I want to thank Congressman Mullin and Speaker Emerita Pelosi. We have the best representatives anywhere in the country right here, and they're doing great things. And I want to thank them for introducing the REACT Act, which would provide much-needed resources, support, testing, and training, along with public education and efforts related to emergency alerts at all local levels. And we stand ready and committed to work with our great partners in the city of San Mateo, our neighbors, to really coordinate these efforts together. Because when things are at their worst during these emergencies, the public expects us to be at our best. And this system, this bill, does just that. I'm encouraged to see that this is a bipartisan bill. Your counties, both red and blue states, stand to benefit from strengthening their emergency capabilities. This is not about politics. This is about people. This is about safety. State and federal support is essential for helping communities prepare for